We had just spent Christmas together and stuff, and we was talking while we was cooking and stuff, getting the stuff prepared. And where my mom stayed at, it was a very bad neighborhood. They always was shooting like every other day. So my little sister just figured like they shooting again, like, but she was like, "Ma, they shooting, get down." It sounded real close, not knowing that was my mom getting shot when she heard what she heard.
They put in the media that she got shot once in the chest, but when I went to go view her body, they lying mama got shot in the neck, the chest, and the arm. So they never told me what side. So when I went and viewed her body, and this is the whole triangle that the cops trained for. So you thought you was at the range on my mother.
It was crazy. That day I'll never forget.
We did not bother y'all.
We're live in Ferguson, Missouri tonight.
This tragic death has exposed so many fault lines in American society.
See the man there, jogging down the road. The killing has sparked protests and demands for arrests.
Say their name. Say their name.
Justice was not given in this case, and that we've got to correct it.
Did you guys see that shooting that happened 2 days ago? Because don't worry, if you missed it, there was another one yesterday.
Police
2
shooting
videos.
Death of a black man inside his own apartment in Dallas.
Incident after incident, year after year.
When news flashes past and the trauma remains, whose story? What story? Her story.
He wasn't no criminal. My baby was a good man, good hard.
Hashtags through his story. The story again the same. Until justice and truth obtained, we will always say their name.
I'm Chris Colbert. Thanks for tuning in to Say Their Name, brought to you by DCP Entertainment. This series takes a deeper look into the impact of the assault and killing of Black people by the police and in stand-your-ground states. We share the stories from families who have been negatively impacted in these situations. We did not talk to officers or to governing bodies, just the families and their support systems. We are not the court of law, nor do we try to be for legal purposes. We are not here to presume guilt or innocence for anyone, because, quite frankly, we do not want to be sued. We simply want to give the families a voice while examining what happens when the hashtags stop, and the news, unfortunately, moves on to the next big story. All we want to do is give the families the opportunity to control their narrative and share ways we can all help. Warning. Some of the discussions may be particularly disturbing and even emotionally overwhelming at times. When one of those moments occur that may be particularly triggering, you will hear this chime. For more specific details on the timing of these moments, please visit our show notes. On this episode of Say Their Name, we focus on Bettie Jones. Welcome back to Say Their Name. I'm Chris Colbert, and I'm here as always with my co-host and co-producer, Adele Coleman.
Hey, Chris.
So in the first episodes of this season, we started on the coast, on the East Coast, the West Coast, and now we're bringing things to the Midwest. We're in Chicago as we focus on the life and the tragedy behind Bettie Jones. And this is a story that actually involves some other people, which we'll get into shortly. But speaking of Bettie herself, she was somebody who was really community-oriented and also had this large family who also seems to be very community-oriented. Can you tell us a little bit about just that community aspect of the Jones family, and particularly with Bettie?
Bettie Jones just seemed like an all-around just awesome person. She worked really, really hard, multiple jobs to support her children. She had 5 children, 4 girls and 1 boy, and then also like just within the community, she always gave. Anthony made a comment about how their mom always gave to the homeless and how they would take money supposed to be for shoes and she would give those to those in need. She volunteered at various places throughout Chicago. She just wanted to kind of sacrifice for those around her. That's what I got from her. She made sacrifices for her family, for the community, for her loved ones. She liked to spend a lot of time with them. When she could. They saw that their mom was always out, and some of them did kind of feel, the children, some of them did kind of feel, away, but they still appreciated that their mom was willing to just kind of pretty much work all types of jobs to make sure that they were taken care of, and then that even came out when they started having children of their own. Now Grandma Bettie Jones is making sacrifices for her grandkids and buying them whatever they want and spoiling them, just taking care of everyone. She was just such a giver in such a unique way that you don't really see. But it seemed to be something that she really enjoyed to do, to just make sure that those around her were always taken care of and were happy.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you mentioned how she takes care of others, because even in this situation, she was kind of taking care of somebody in how she got killed. She was trying to help.
Yeah.
And that's what led to her getting killed. And so many of these instances, unfortunately, we hear about there being a mental health aspect. And this case is very similar. But what makes this one different is that it was somebody else having a mental health situation, and Betty was there to be able to help the police de-escalate the situation. And that led to her being killed. So can you talk about what happened from a mental health standpoint in this case?
So Bettie Jones lived in a flat where, they occupied the bottom floor, and her neighbor / landlord, Anthony, lived upstairs, and he had a son who was home from school, Quintonio. Quintonio was clearly in some type of mental and emotional distress. We were able to access some of the 911 calls that he made because there was some type of conflict between he and his father. Not sure who was the agitator, but it just kind of resulted in the dad calling downstairs asking Betty to open the door when the officer showed up. Betty, being the nice neighbor and the do-getter, sure, I'll open the door, once they show up. And unfortunately, when she did, the officer saw a threat, I guess, within Quintonio, and they opened fire. And, there was a lot of conversations about what was really going on with Quintonio. I don't want to give too much away, but you can hear in the 911 calls that there was something mentally and emotionally, going on with him, where this was a call for help, literally. Like, he needed help. And unfortunately, the officers did not show up, or anyone, because we've discussed in previous episodes, like, who should show up when there is an emotional and mental distress moment, right? No one, unfortunately, showed up for Quintonio. And when the officer did show up for his dad, it resulted in both Quintonio and Betty, unfortunately, losing their lives.
All these are tragedies that are hard to be able to deal with. I can only imagine, obviously I have never personally gone through this, but just in talking to these families, we hear how tough this is. But it must be even tougher when the situation wasn't even around your loved one. Like your loved one was just a bystander. And it's interesting with this family that they've been able to take such a tragedy and turn it into something positive in terms of doing things with the rest of their lives and also in how they're interacting with others. Can you talk a little bit about that?
The theme I would say I get from all of Betty's kids is legacy. Their mom worked really hard to try to provide a way for them. And, one of the Betty Gang twins that you'll hear about later in the episode. Yeah. She mentioned about how she worked really, really hard. Her mom worked hard all the time, sacrificing. And, she had a dream that her mom finally got there, as far as being able to provide, and they were living well. But then unfortunately, she noticed her mom wasn't there, and she had shared that dream with her mother, and her mother was like, well, where was I? What do you mean? And kind of arriving at this moment where, now this incident has happened, and the family, did receive a settlement, which we do cover later on in the episode. First thing I will say this: every family that we talk to that received a settlement will tell you that they would trade it all back. They will give every single penny back for their loved one. It's not about that. It's just about trying to get something tangible, some type of form of justice, something. But this still is not what justice looks like for them. But what they did to try to take hold of some type of narrative is, like I said, they tried to find a way to build legacy. So Betty Gang twins, which is LaTanya and Letitia, they are rappers, that's their whole thing. Betty Gang. When you talk to them, all you hear is Betty Gang. And they're now entrepreneurs. They have properties throughout Chicago in the name of their mom. They have a beauty bar in the name of their mom. They have all these various things in the name of their mom. Even Anthony, he started a record label. LaToya is a model in the name of her mom. Like, all of the things that they are taking on, they're doing it they're creating industry and companies in their mother's name, but then they're also giving back to the community in their mother's name. You know, when we met with Anthony, you know, he had all these people at his record label kind of hanging out in the studio. And he's like, yeah, you know, I met this guy, or we're donating to this or that. We're starting this organization. So they're all about just trying to pour back into the community the same way that their mother taught them and instilled in them. And so I thought that was just something worth mentioning. And I know their mother would be proud of them, just kind of in learning who she was through them and seeing a way that they're trying to create generational wealth, you know, for their loved ones. If they had to receive it in such a unfortunate way, how can they not only pour into the communities, but also pour into their children to create legacy to take care of Bettie Jones's grandkids? So it just became an unfortunate full circle moment, but also they found the positive in trying to make this a full circle moment.
Well, speaking of the family, let's hear them carry on that legacy as they tell us about Bettie Jones.
My name is Carol Andrews, and Bettie Jones was my sister. So growing up, it was only me, my sister Betty, my brother Melvin Jones, my brother Arthur Andrews, my brother Lawrence Andrews, my brother Donald Andrews, and my youngest brother Robin Andrews. Melvin Jones, he was the first, then Betty, then me, then my brother Chubby, then my brother Arthur, then Lawrence, then my baby brother Rob. So yeah, that was the 7 of us. And when it comes to my sister Bettie Jones, oh my God, that was my heart. I ain't gonna lie, we had a rough childhood. Me and her together, growing up, we had, like every family, we had our ups and downs. We had our faults, we fought. I would have did anything for that girl, anything, and I mean anything. Believe you me, if somebody messed with her, we all had her back. If somebody messed with us, she had our back. We didn't care who it was. Even when the family members was fighting one another, we still had each other's back. We grew up on the north side in Cabrini Green. Rough. On the north side, on Larrabee, it was rough over there. I was glad when we got from over there, though, because it wasn't nothing nice. And I think that's when we moved from Larrabee over there on. Now, we loved it over there. Only thing I didn't like about over there, my mama gave the neighbors permission to whoop us. I didn't like that. When we was coming up, my mama and them did not play at all. Growing up, our childhood was fun, but our mama did not play. We had the worstest mama ever, and when it came down to whoopings, we got it bad. I mean, we got it bad. We got whooped with extension cords, we got whooped with switches. My mama did not play at all. My daddy, it's embarrassed to say this, but my daddy, I fought my daddy. Now Betty was kind-hearted. When it come to my mama, Betty stood up under my mama like crazy, 24/7. Whenever my mama moved, Betty was there. Me, not me. I wasn't like that. That is so weird. And my mom's birthday was March 22nd, and Betty's birthday was April the 10th. That's why they were so close together, because both of them was Aries. And I mean, Betty was up under our mama like, man, my mama could not go nowhere. Only time she wasn't under our mom is when our moms was at birth. If my mom was at home, Betty was up under mama. I loved Betty for that, because Betty was a mama's girl. Betty loved my mom. So she was there 24/7. I couldn't do it. I love my mom, but I can't be up under my mom 24/7. I was used to always try to get her to go to the casino, to the boat with me. She like, I'm going. She never went. I told her, Betty, once you get on that boat, the boats don't move. At that time, the boats, they used to move, but when I used to try to get her to go, the boat wouldn't move. They would always stay on dock. In our 20s and stuff, oh my God, they had this club. It was me, her, and my brother Arthur. We went out to this nightclub. We stayed out all night until morning. That was the best night of our lives. We had so much fun. And she got a friend named Linda Hall. Those two like peas in a pot. They stuck together like everything. They did so much partying, but I didn't party like them. They weren't party animals though, but yes. Them two together, give Betty her vodka and her Miller's Light. Oh yeah, here come the party animals. She coming out. She was the life of the party.
Partying wouldn't be the only thing they bonded over.
And I found out I was pregnant. I told her about it. She was happy for me. She wound up with 4 girls and 1 boy. I wound up with 4 boys and 1 girl.
My name is Anthony Jones. I'm the son of Bettie Jones. I'm 35 years old. I'm the CEO of a record label called Qualified Sound Artists. Yeah, QSA Records.
My name is Latoya Jones. I'm the second oldest of Bettie Jones' daughters. I'm into real estate. I'm working on my second property. I do a little secretary work for the label. And I do a little modeling. I stopped for a second, but I'm about to continue to be back on track. My mom loved me modeling when I was younger. She was like, "You a pretty girl, do it." And I got out of my little shell a little bit. Yeah, we were real close.
Close an understatement.
We was fond of each other's kids, and my son, Lucky, they all loved their Betty. My oldest son and my second oldest son, oh my God, they loved their TT Betty. He was crazy about his Auntie Betty. I mean, he was crazy about her.
My name is Marcus Andrews. I'm Bettie Jones' nephew.
My name is Camilla Andrews, and Bettie Jones was my auntie. My dad didn't have any sisters, and my mom, that was her only sister. So that was the only person I could call auntie. And she made it like, you couldn't say Betty. You had to say TT Betty, Auntie Betty, not just Betty.
Betty's tight-knit relationship with her sister Carol allowed for the cousins to grow up together. In fact,
everybody grew up close.
Oh, we grew up on Carson and Van Buren.
We all lived in one house.
Same 3-flat our grandmother owned, and we stayed on the first floor. They stayed on the second floor. You know, his mother's upstairs, my mother downstairs. They cooked every night for us.
It was kind of rough and stuff, but we made it work. We did the best we could and stuff.
Barbecues and...
We did our little cooks together, but I think Betty's favorite food to cook, but she liked the seafoods a lot. So she would go get her crab legs and all different type of seafoods, but Betty was the bomb on that stuff. Nobody did like Betty, and I think she got that from my mama.
And cook she did, especially during the holidays.
I think my favorite holiday with Betty was Thanksgiving, because that's when we all got together and did our dishes and stuff like that. So yeah, Thanksgiving. Birthdays, we always had to do the birthday things because, you know, we always had to go out to the club with her to do our birthdays and stuff. But yeah, my favorite holiday was Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving was the best.
That's when everybody come. The whole, like, everybody come. Mm-hmm. So then everybody cooking. It was like, I want to say a typical Thanksgiving when your family come over, everybody having dinner, kids eating over here and adults eating over here, you know what I mean?
Thanksgiving was just all about just eating and enjoying each other.
Betty's favorite thing,
chitlins.
I used to like them. Mm-hmm. She would not clean chitlins for nothing. She would pay you to clean them chitlins. She wasn't cleaning, she'll cook them, but she ain't touching them. I pay you. I'm not touching them. But I did it for her anyway. But she would cook the chitlins and I would try to make the dressing and stuff like that. And I think Betty's main food that I loved her to cook was her dressing and her greens.
Cabbage for me.
I think that dressing was
I was about to say that dressing.
Yeah, that dressing was something else.
Them dressing and them greens. Ooh.
Yeah, I say Thanksgiving because Christmas was good too though, but it was a distraction, that sort of Christmas with the gift thing going on. But
yeah, we had some good Christmases too though.
Yeah.
We had some real good Christmases too. Like, we used to all open up our presents together, so we'll take our presents from upstairs and bring them downstairs.
Yeah.
Pretty much by the time we get the first thing opening, we playing with it already. You know what I mean? We get the Hot Wheels. Yeah. So we used to all sit downstairs and just play with our toys. He busting his toys down. He always got the better toys though. I ain't gonna lie. He always got the better toys. Then you got to trick him with the chicken. I'll give you some chicken. I'll give you some chicken.
He's the chicken man. That's my baby. He loved him some chicken. I would not knock him for it either.
My auntie Carol, she used to always cook chicken. That's why I love chicken so much to this day, because of my auntie, not my mother. So they used to be tired of chicken, so I used to convince my cousin Marcus and them, let me get their chicken and I'll let them get one of my video games.
He said he used to go to Marcus and be like, all right, you give me some chicken, I'll give you my video games.
So look, this crazy. So they caught on, so their mother caught on. She like, why y'all study talking about y'all hungry? I just fed y'all, but not knowing that they gave me their food for a video game. So they ended up telling that. So my mother ended up whooping me because she like, you know better, like, why is you taking their food and they going to bed hungry?
Betty was a giver, sacrificing to take care of her children. And she also gave back to the community, instilling those values in her children.
She loved to give food to homeless people, money to homeless people. She took shoe money that she supposed to have, took us to get shoes and gave half the money away to the homeless person. It was like, boy, be quiet. Get you some more shoes my next paycheck. I'm like, man, at the time I was young, so I wasn't trying to hear that. As I got older, I understand now, but back then I didn't. But like, we really the same type of people. We do the same. We see homeless people right now to this day. We make sure we situate them. If we got it on us at the time, if I got cash on me, we look out. My sister the same way, We always do that. We give food back to the homeless, food drives, stuff like that. We just got a big heart. We got that from my mother, though, we know. Now, looking back, that's definitely who we had to get it from.
Yes.
She had different job descriptions, though, over the years of us growing up. Like I say, she just pretty much did what she had to do to survive, to raise her 5 children, She went into, like, the nursing field. She didn't work the factories, assembly lines. She did bakeries, like home care, I believe. She did quite a few different job descriptions. Like I said, whatever, made the bills, paid the bills. She went out and did that. That's how it went. And it took a lot of time. I felt like it took a lot of time away from us growing up. I think her favorite job was at the nursing home.
Beyond taking care of her family and others, she also knew how to have a good time.
And she was the life of any party.
Yes.
Like any party. Like if you play the music, got the right music going, she'll be the first one to step up and start dancing. She'll get you up out your chair. Old school,
gospel.
Kirk Franklin, R. Kelly, Step in the Name of Love, all that type of good stuff.
That's her favorite.
She was a stepper.
Oh, God, I forgot.
Every time we had a family function, come on, niece, step with your auntie. Like, come on, AC, don't put me on the spot.
Betty was on point when it comes to stepping.
And she didn't care who was around. It was fun. And the song Teach Me How to Dougie came out. And that was her favorite thing. I did it one time, and she thought I was a professional Dougier. And they would always be like, come on, niece, teach me how to Dougie. Like, auntie, not in front of everybody. I'm shy. Good memories. Well, for me, like all of us living in one house, I loved it. Because, you got your whole family, your first cousins right downstairs, you upstairs, and my favorite thing was my Uncle Gary and my Auntie Betty. They used to take us to this arcade room, which felt like a long drive. It was only like a 30-minute drive. But as a kid, you're thirsty, you're excited to get to your destination. It's a long ride. But they used to always take us to the arcade at least once or twice a month. And it was just a family drive with all the kids in this big van listening to old school music.
That's when Gary and Betty used to take the kids go-kart racing. It was in a suburb somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, the kids enjoyed that. Gary would take the kids in the van because he did have a big van.
And Gary, that was her husband?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Technically, they wasn't married, but you might as well say they was married because they was together for all them years. So, yeah.
Years, I think.
Yes, and they was together for that long. But they loved, they loved each other. Gary is a wild thing, too. He's a wild cat. Them two together, they made a great couple. We used to go out and have fun together. Oh, my gosh, she used to love her motorcycles. She used to love riding the motorcycles. And party animal, she did it all. She lived her life. She lived a good life. And it's just too bad that it was taken from her too soon.
Betty was talented, too.
And talking about her voice, Betty had a voice of an angel. She sang.
Yes, we had sang one. I'll never forget that. We was at church one Sunday. And everybody kept saying, is y'all gonna sing? Me being a shy person, I'm like, no, Ma, I don't want to sing. She come on the code. So we sang at the church. Everybody was like, I didn't know you can sing like that. I was like getting forced to go to the choir every Sunday. You had no choice but to sing on Sundays. But we were singing. We had a nice little time. And the music had stopped, and we just continued singing without the music. They was like, okay. So at the church, everybody was like, is y'all gonna join the choir? I'll never forget that. She was thinking about joining the choir where her funeral was and joining the church, but she didn't get a chance to.
We even found out that she was in a singing group. I ain't know she was in no singing group.
I didn't know either.
The Seven Bells was the name of her singing group. Betty grew up loving music, and her two youngest daughters, twins Letitia and Latanya, followed in her footsteps. We caught up with Letitia and Latanya while they were out at dinner with their young children who were watching cartoons in the background. Full transparency, the audio isn't the best, but this was the most comfortable environment for the twins, as Letitia has rarely shared her first-person account with anyone of what happened to their mother.
Hi, I'm Letitia Jones.
And I'm Latanya Jones, and we're Bettie Jones' daughters. We the Betty Gang. We've been rapping since 9 years old, and right now today we rappers. So that's something that we really love to do. So at first, she didn't like us. She didn't like us rapping at first because it's like growing up, everybody was like so big on like Nicki Minaj and like Lil' Kim and everything like that. So when we was rapping, they was telling us like, if y'all want to be real rappers, y'all gotta rap like Nicki Minaj now. So we started trying to like make up songs like Nicki Minaj and Lil' Kim would get on. And my mom used to be like, I don't like them songs. So we just started like making other little songs. And it's like, she didn't like them, but she rocked with us because we was her kids.
Yeah, like she was definitely a supporter.
Yeah, we the Betty Gang twins. Yeah. I feel like it changed because now it's like we involve her in our music. Like we took our pain and we put it all on our songs. So now it's like when you want to know about us, all you have to do is like listen to our albums, and it's like we telling the story now. Yeah. We got a concept. Every song, we always include her. Every song.
Every song.
Beyond supporting Betty Gang's musical dreams and aspirations, Betty was able to spend some special one-on-one time with her youngest daughters.
Growing up, everybody lived with my mom all the way up like 12. And that's how my mom used to always like try to preach to us too. She used to always tell us like, no matter what, y'all came in this world together, y'all own friends, y'all don't need a group of people. So growing up, we always knew it was us and my mom. So we never really cared about kicking it with nobody else. So whenever we on her good side, she give us like little cute names like Sexy and like my boo-boo and stuff like that. And then when we make her mad, she call us by our middle name. So whenever we heard our middle name, we knew we made her mad. Yeah. She made us spoil. So I'm like, I gotta let her go get money because I want the new mics next week. We have a shopping addiction because of her. Like my mom, she used to go shopping every day before she go to work. Like she always had a new outfit. Like when she died and we went through her clothes, she had like 7 pairs of the same jeans because she never washed. She always go buy some new stuff. And now I feel like it rubbed off on us because now I don't like washing. Like if you see my closet, it's full of just mess because I don't wash. I just go buy something new.
Yeah. She still had clothes with tags on.
Yeah. It used to really be like us, and then I end up getting the job, and then it used to just be her and my mom. And then it was like my mom made me go get a job because if she took me to the store, I wanted everything out the store. So she had to get rid of me and keep her. She was very like religious. She always like read her Bible every day. She always made us pray at night. Like we would have got a whooping if we didn't pray.
You pray? No.
I used to make her so mad, right? So we used to be in the car. Like she used to drive me off at work and school. So a song would come on, like one of her favorite songs come on, and like before she'd start singing, I start singing it, but like I messed the song up, and she'd be like, "Just shut the fuck up, cut it out."
I was doing.
No, I used to like get under her skin, not on purpose, but because it used to be funny to me. So I used to be like, "I'm just gonna pick her today." So I was the one. Like anything I say, I was getting cursed the hell out. But I miss it now though. Like none of that cursed out. I'd be like, "Dang, I want her to say something to me right now." Adore You, that's the song I played with. I started like singing it, and she was like, "You gonna fuck up my favorite fucking song like that? Shut up."
Even when Betty didn't want her favorite song messed up, she had so much love for her children, nieces, nephews, and all the way down to her grandchildren.
She loved to be with all her kids and grandkids at the same time, like something that she loved. To have all us in the house, she felt like she won a lot of it.
Yeah, she loved that.
She was real big on family. I mean, she started showing favoritism to the grandkids over us. Yeah. I got you.
Her first grandkid, she was over the moon.
Yeah, she was definitely excited when she got her first grandchild. She just basically used to like treat him like me. It's like I seen how she treated him like how I remember because I was her only son. So, you know, I had special privileges with her. I think she wanted to like groom him and raise him to be like she went to his basketball game, stuff like that. Yeah, she have 11 grandchildren. She was only able to meet 9 of them though. She was
spoiled them rotten, whatever they want.
It was like, forget y'all, here go the kids, the grandkids. Like, it's like, what about us? It's like we'll go shopping, but it's like she'll buy us stuff, but we would have had more if she didn't have grandkids.
On the morning of December 26th, after having family over and enjoying Christmas, Betty was home spending time with her daughter, Letitia.
I was staying with her at the time. Where we was at, where we were staying, it was like a lot of gang violence. So it's like police stay over in the area a lot. So she used to be like worried because I used to always go outside.
Earlier that day, she was in the kitchen cooking, and I'm the taste tester, so I was there too. Like, she was just so happy that morning. Because the day before Christmas, I went Christmas shopping, and I had her go with me so I could see, like, what all stuff she liked. And then when she walked off, I went and bought it. Low-key, I let her pick her own gifts. So she was just so happy that day. And she just kept telling me, like, you don't got to buy me nothing. And I was acting like I wasn't buying her nothing. I'm like, girl, I'm not about to buy you nothing. I'm about to buy myself stuff. And she like, little selfish, little red self. Everything that she said she liked, I ended up buying it. So on Christmas morning when I came over there, I had the gifts with me. And she like, what's that? And I'm like, these my gifts. Open them. She like, so you want me to open your gifts? I was like, yeah. She was like, no, I'm not opening your gifts. I'm like, nah, these your gifts, Mom. She was just so happy that day that everybody came over. All her kids was over. So she was happy. She was actually there. I left. I had went home and she was there.
So I remember the day like it was yesterday. Me and my mom, we was in our room sitting. Like, at first I was in her room, me and her was talking about some things. It's like my mom was like my best friend. I talked to her about everything. Or any kind of problems that I have, like I go to my mom. We was in her room, we was talking, and we just heard like a whole bunch of booming, banging, bam, bam, bam going on upstairs. And I was like, what the? And she looked at me, I was like, what is that? She was like, right, what the hell is that? I said, I don't know, it gotta be coming from upstairs. And she was like, oh, I'm sure to say, what the hell you doing now? I said, I ain't doing nothing. He wound up calling her, was like, yeah, my son upstairs, Antonio, the landlord, Tony, he wound up calling her because him and his son was having an altercation upstairs.
According to Betty's niece, Camila,
Quintonio was only in town, like, from school, from college. I guess they were on Christmas break, and that's why he was there.
Yeah, my son upstairs tripping. I locked myself in my room. I called the police. Can you look out for them? Because he locked himself in his room. He ain't want to come out. Mm-hmm. So the way the apartment, the whole building was set up, we the only one with a doorbell. We on the first level. He stayed upstairs. So it's like a front door. You got to come in that door to go to our door, or he go up to his door. Like, so she told him, like, okay, I don't know what's going on, but I'll look out for the police for you. Me and my mom decided to like lay down for a couple hours because she ain't had to go came and got me from outside. We laid down. We got woke up all of a sudden by the doorbell. We came out of our room, was running like, was that the doorbell? Because like from the time he told her to call, he called the police and they was gonna be on their way to the time we got woke up by the doorbell. They were supposed to have been there by then, but they didn't. So we didn't expect for them to come. But we got woke up by the doorbell. I thought it was my friends at the time at the door because they always come and get me at like crazy hours of the night. So I opened our apartment door. I didn't open the front door. So she told me come back and let her open the door. She was like, you don't open my door. Just late at night. And I was like, well, what if it's my friends? It better not be no friends. I said, well, Mom, if it's my friends, can you just tell them you let the man tell them to my room? She was like, all right. I'm like, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'm like, just like behind her. But I had to use the washroom. So I was like, Mom, I'm finna go to the bathroom, be back. So she was like, okay. I went to the bathroom and I sat down. I heard some gunshots. Like I heard boom, 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 boom. And I heard do 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 do. Boom, 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 boom. That's how it sounded. I'm like, what the hell is that? Now I'm surprised, and I heard something like the mirror like shot through a glass. So I'm like, and I had to look. I'm like, what is that? So I was like, oh, they shooting, because like We stayed like around gangs, like they was always into it with each other over there. And I was like, Mom, you down? They shoot, Mom. And she ain't say nothing. I had to look, like I stood and I just turned slow. And I just did like this and looked right it out. And she was laying right there, gasping for air. And I was just like, Mom. So I wound up holding her, trying to comfort her and in her time of need as of right then and there, like that, because she got shot in the neck, in the chest.
She opened the door with a crack in the door. Yeah, she peeked out, and he shot her in the neck. My mother had so much blood on that floor.
Her neck tissue came out her neck.
In the report, they say she only got shot once, but she got shot 3 times.
Yes, it was 3 shots went out.
So as my mother opening the front door for the cops, Quintonio, he coming down the stairs with his bat in his hand. But once they saw him with the bat and she opened the door, that's when they opened fire. The officer, he never made it to the front porch. My mother was the first one to get hit. As I seen the report, the dispatch, I read it. It says, female black hit.
Shots fired. I hear shots fired. Shots fired. Shots fired. 2 shots fired.
You need an ambulance over there? All right, let me get some more units for 4010 West Erie. We got an ambulance in route.
What's that ambulance?
10-4. We just got an ambulance in route.
Female black hit.
All right, male black shot, female black hit.
4710, we got 2 down, 2 down. 89, I'm on the way.
All right, 10-4, so we got 2 people shot, but the shots fired by police, just to confirm.
3 Robert, we're going by 72. Yes, they were. Step up on the cars and ammo right now.
10-4, we do have an ambulance en route, but you are okay. 10-4 for 1199.
We're good.
They looking in, see him behind her, panic, boom, boom, boom. That's how it had to go. He see y'all do that. What he gonna do? Turn and try to run. He get hit in his back. That's why he got hit so many times in his back. He got shot 6 or 7 times in his back. I would have ran too. I seen you just tweak on this lady like this. I'm turning to run. He trying to go back up the stairs. He shoot them all in the back 6, 7 times.
Somebody called the ambulance. Because at first I had my hand under her head, but I thought I was hurting her. I don't know if I'm hurting her, if I'm helping her, so I didn't. Blood on it. And I turned and looked like this. I seen the officers, he by the curve. Like, it's still like, act like, Mom, calm down. Mom, you got this. I'm like, Mom, don't leave me. So, I'm praying. She's like, Lord Jesus, help me.
It took them an hour to get there. I pulled up before them. I was on the phone. I heard the whole thing. I hurried up and I went straight to her. And when I got there, once I pulled up, then the police came. Like, everybody came. Like, the police upped the gun on me when I pulled up because I was snapping. I was in the middle of the street. I was going off. Yeah. They upping guns, pointing them at us. I'm like, y'all trying to up guns on her. This our fucking mama y'all just killed.
The officer did the same thing who shot her when it was like, because I didn't know it was a lot of officers outside. My main focus was my mom. But when officers started coming inside the house, he had his gun pointing at me like this. And he was like, get the fuck on the ground. Get the fuck on the ground. Get the fuck up. And I was like, this my motherfucking mama. What the fuck you mean get the fuck up? You just shot my motherfucking mama. Like, I was going crazy. And it was another officer, he had on a white shirt. He pushed him like, leave her alone. It's her fucking mom. Like, your fucking job. And he was finna shoot me because I was hollering. I was make her feel comfortable and to calm down.
Quintonio dad, he was getting ready to come downstairs. He said all he heard was my mother say, whoa, whoa, whoa. And he heard the shots ring out.
He stepped over his son. He didn't check him. He didn't stop to make sure he was breathing. He ain't make sure he was okay. He stepped over him. Like, after the ambulance came, after they got shot and dragged Antonio, his son, out, he died right there in our doorway. My mom, like, I looked at her. She looked at me, and I looked at her, just seeing her eyes roll back. I don't know if she closed them because she passed away, or like she was holding on. But I feel like she let go right there.
Then I got a phone call about like 5 a.m. I'm thinking it was my mom telling me something about my little sisters, but it was actually my little sister telling me about my mom. I was like, what you say happened? And then she was like, they killed her. I was like, who killed who? What are you talking about? She was like, the police. They killed mama. I was like, what? I just lost it. Then I seen my little sister on the news. I'm just looking like, this can't be happening. I was in like shock because I couldn't believe what I was seeing and feeling and hearing.
And they wouldn't let me ride in the ambulance with her. They said I couldn't ride in the ambulance with her. When they drove off with her to the hospital, they didn't even tell us which hospital that they was taking her to. So we had to call around hospitals to figure out which hospital that they take her to. They took us to Loretta's hospital, and that's not a trauma hospital. We was in the waiting room, and they had wound up calling us to the back. And it was like, unfortunately, she didn't make it. And we was like, stop playing. And he was like, no, this is not a playing matter.
Yeah, and that's when Tony came out like, yeah, your mom dead, back there with my son. Like, my mama dead. Like, it messed me up. I'm like, she not dead. He like, yes, she is. She in there with my son. And I started swinging on his ass. Because I'm like, if it weren't for you, been in there.
You locked yourself in your room scared.
Carol, Betty's sister, was home in Iowa and about to get some unfortunate news.
We was down in Osage, Iowa. My third oldest son stayed in the trailer because I had my phone off. And he came to where we was at, and he told me, I'm like, quit playing. I turned on my phone. My whole world came crashing down on me. I listened to that voicemail message. I had my oldest niece and my second oldest niece on the phone crying, saying that they killed my mama. I'm like, oh, God. And I died right there. I died. That's how we all found out. We just got a phone call saying that she got killed. Tisha was in the room where the bullet went. Now, what if that bullet would have hit her? They could have took 3 people's lives. 3 innocent people's lives could have been taken. But by the grace of God, she didn't get hit.
It was crazy for me because the day when it happened, I was just coming in the house. So I lay down. My girlfriend told me, she was like, yo, cousin, I'm on the news. So I wake up and I see him on the news, but I catch the last ending of it. And then I get a call from my auntie, and they say, is it real? What's going on with Betty? What is you talking about? But they told me, they were like, yeah, she got shot. So I ended up going over to her house. The bullet holes just went from the front to the back, through the back window. That's when I seen just blood everywhere. Just so much blood all in the hallway, but I see people just walking through the blood. I see footprints all in the blood. Then one of the bullets went to the back, to the kitchen.
It went through the bathroom wall too. It went straight through the door, through the walls, through the whole house, and it landed in the kitchen.
Then that's when my uncle, he grabbed me, hugged me. He was like, she didn't make it. She didn't make it. You know, I'm what? And I kind of just lost it.
On December 26, 2015, the morning after Christmas, Bettie Jones was killed by Officer Robert Rialmo of the Chicago Police Department. Though most of the family was gathered at the hospital to learn of Betty's fate, one person had yet to be informed about what happened to his mother.
I was incarcerated at the time my mother got killed. I found out because I came out to the day room that morning to call home, to call my mother to see how her Christmas was, because I didn't get a chance to speak to her directly on Christmas. The 26th at 8 o'clock that morning, I called my mother's phone, she didn't answer. I called back again, she didn't answer. I called my sister LaToya right here. She picked up as soon as the call connect.
And all I can say is I can't tell him this. I can't tell him this because we was waiting on his phone call. That's the crazy part. We supposed to went to go visit him the next day. We supposed to got baptized that Sunday. But it didn't happen. And it's like a living nightmare every day.
She crying and like all hysterical and stuff. I knew somebody died. I promise you, like it was a different cry. Like I knew somebody was gone. I just didn't never think it was my mother. And like I said, you know, all the sisters at the time, they was young. They was like 19 years. So I'm thinking like they probably was around somebody. I honestly thought something happened with one of my little sisters though. I'm like, what's up? She just kept saying like, I can't even tell him. So I'm like, tell me what? So I'm trying to brace myself to hear the bad news.
I said she gone. Oh my God, that is hard to explain because, oh my God. That feeling is undescribable. Like the worst feeling ever. And that's the hardest thing I ever had to do in life, is to tell my brother our mom was gone. Being in the situation where he was at, I'm like, oh my God. That's why I'm like, I can't tell him this. I'm like, no, I have to tell him this. He gonna be mad if I don't tell him this, so I have to tell him this. It's like fighting back and forth with myself, but I knew I had to do it. He the only boy. He was her favorite out of everybody. Even though she used to always be like, I love y'all too. But yeah, that was the hardest thing I had to do. That was an undescribable feeling, the worst. And it's like, I talk to my mom every day.
Yeah, she like, mama gone. So I was like, what? What you mean gone? Like, then she like, she did. They shot her. So she was dropping this on me so fast, I actually thought I was dreaming. Like, no lie. I closed my eyes and balled up in the corner because I thought it was just a bad dream. You know how them bad dreams be, where you just want to wake up, and then you wake up and you be like, oh, I'm so glad it was a dream. I closed my eyes, opened my eyes back up. I'm still in this day room looking around at people doing their thing, and I'm like, oh, no, this true. This reality. I then went to pinch myself, really did this. I'm like, no, I broke down crying real bad. So I was trying to snatch the phone out the wall. So, you know, everybody looking at me, they don't know what's being said to me on this phone. They looking like, what's wrong with dude? You know, I'm going crazy in there. So I'm screaming to the top of my lungs. So I'm talking to my sister. I'm crying real bad. Now, when she say she got shot, she never told me it was the cops, though. So I'm thinking it's some local neighborhood, you know, gangbang type stuff. So I'm thinking, so now I'm so mad. I was just like, man, who it is, what she was at. You know, I'm furious at this point. Like, so she was like, the police shot her. So now there's another twist to me. I'm like, hold on, what? You know, like, how this could happen? I know my mother went into nothing illegal, nothing, you know, she ain't no bad person. So you take the cop shot, I'm really confused. So then she get to explaining to me about the boy came down with the bat and the father situation, and I'm just like lost for words at that point, because it's like, man, the people you're supposed to serve and protect you, like, that's who killed her. You know, we made it through these rough neighborhoods. We made it all the way this far, you know, just to allow the cops to take our life, the people who she should have been the most safest around. So, you know, that really had me going through, and like, I had to see counselors. I had to be in the cell by myself. You know, I ain't want no celly. I ain't want to be around nobody, because the slightest thing would have just ticked me off. It was so crazy, you know, that pretty much she got killed on Christmas, in a sense, because Christmas was her favorite holiday.
Special thank you to the family of Bettie Jones. We appreciate you for listening to Say Their Name, courtesy of DCP Entertainment, as well as special thanks to our team, host and executive producers Adele Coleman and myself, Chris Colbert, producers Heather Johnson, Ryan Woodhall, and Mike Dubose, associate producer Quinton Hill, and editor and sound designer Byron Hunt. Join us next week for part 2 on Bettie Jones.
The police department claimed that the bullet that struck Bettie Jones, that bullet actually struck the young man and then went through him and struck her, meaning it was a justified shooting because he was attacking them. We hired consultants and experts in police procedures, as well as conducted a complete scan of the area where the shooting occurred to prove trajectory, to prove that the officer was not where he claimed he was.
You know, he never made it to the front porch.